So here are the answers to this exit ticket. So you're giving these two intersecting lines, and now the thing you always have to keep in mind is that two intersecting lines like this will form vertical angles as well as linear pairs. And depending on what information you're given, you may have to use one versus the other. Here they're giving us information about the measurements of angles 1 and 4. And as we can see in the figure, angles 1 and 4 are vertical angles. And we know vertical angles are congruent, so these two measurements should be equal to each other. So when we start doing the work for this and set up our equation, we're going to state that, well, because the vertical angles are going to be equal to each other, I would then solve for x using algebra, so subtract 4x on both sides, add 120 to both sides, and get x equals 34. And then once I know that x is 34, since I'm looking for the measurement of angle 1, I'm just going to put the 34 in for the x here and calculate it out to figure out that the measurement of angle 1 is 152 degrees. For the second problem you were given, same circumstance, same angles the way they're as far as how they're marked, but we don't, I mean, again, we're starting over again here, so we're not going to assume the measurement of angle 1 is 152 degrees again. But they are telling me about the measurements of angles 2 and 3. Again, those two are vertical angles as well, so we would expect that their measurements are equal to each other. So I would set them equal to each other and solve for x. So I would add 3x to both sides, divide both sides by 5 to get x equals 36. I then figure out the measurement of angle 3 is 2 times 36, which is 72 degrees. But I also know that the measurement of angle 1 plus the measurement of angle 3 is 180 degrees, because if I look in the figure, angles 1 and 3 are a linear pair. So now I can substitute in for the measurement of angle 3 and subtract 72 from both sides to get the measurement of angle 1 to be 108 degrees. Keep in mind, these are not the only ways I could have went about doing these problems, or at least the second one. You know, I could have used measurement. I could use angle 1 and angle 2's measurements together, whatever the case may be. It still equal 180 degrees. I could have found angle 4 and then come back to find angle 1. I mean, there's different routes you could go. I picked one of the shorter ones in each case, so that's what I tend to go with. So if you do have any further questions, please either ask me, especially if I'm your teacher, or ask your own geometry teacher. But until I get to see you again, have a good day, everybody.